Hello and welcome to the Pick Up and Play podcast, the podcast where four friends talk about gaming. I am Adam Conway and I'm here with my three other friends. First of all, we have Scott Jackson.
Hello.
And we're actually, before I introduce the other two, we've got a special guest. Would you introduce yourself, please, this special guest?
It's the hardcore legend Mick Foley.
Hello, Mick Foley. Would you do me the honours of introducing the other two friends of mine on this podcast?
James Croxon.
Thank you. And who else have we got?
Dan Jackson.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks, Mick. See you later.
For anyone that doesn't recognise that voice, that is the hardcore legend Mick Foley, who recently recorded a cameo for Dan Jackson's birthday, which is on Thursday.
It was so good.
Dan is 29. If anyone doesn't know who Mick Foley is, he once fell off of the Hell in a Cell in 1998, plummeted 16 foot through the announce table, and I've got some audio here.
Just before you, so you've still not explained who Mick Foley is, because you've announced him as someone who does hardcore and something about being in a cell. It's still not that clear. He's a wrestler, okay? He's a
Mick
wrestler.
Foley, the wrestler. I mean, if you don't know who he is, you're living under a rock. Let's have a little audio piece from that moment.
I can see it in my head.
It's like I'm there.
Except you were 7.
Oh my God. As God is my witness, he is broken in half.
Such iconic commentary.
As God in my witness, he is broken
Just
in
for
half.
context as well, he ended that match with a tooth through his top lip and with concussions and broken ribs. Scott, you need to get on that. You need to watch that.
I'm not watching wrestling from 1998. I'm not interested in 2020.
Scott, that's when it was good. It's worth watching.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It was Dan's birthday this week. He's 29, and that was James's present to him was a cameo from Mick Foley, and he did 4 minutes of absolute madness.
It's so good. I keep saying the more you watch it, the more you notice just random things. Like, one, he's clearly on the toilet. 2, there's an iron on the wall. 3, he's wearing like a blue sky-coloured, like it's got clouds on it, suit with like a...
He's wearing something that I assume Scott wears when he's walking around the house, like a silk blue kimono.
James, how did you get Mick Foley to do this?
It was just through Cameo. So if you haven't seen it, it's basically a streaming and sort of video request service. So loads of celebrities signed up. So sports legends, like TV personalities, like loads of people. You pay a fee, you tell them vaguely in, I think it was 100 characters, what you want saying and who it's to, and they'll ping something back to you within a week.
It's really cool. This isn't an ad, by the way. This is just like
no ad.
It's such a cool fucking thing. I love it.
It's a good idea, because I assumed it was something like, you'd messaged Mick Foley on Instagram or something, DM'd him, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll sort you out, no worries."
He's got. He said something in the cameo which I think we can adopt as our mantra, and I've clipped it here, so I'm going to play it. Hold on.
Hey, I figure if I can entertain myself, you might be entertained as well.
That's actually really good, yeah.
It's so fucking good.
Next on the agenda is almost more important than Dan's birthday. It will happen this week. In terms of, we have talked about it more, is Scott got a new dog.
I did get a dog. Me and my fiance got our first ever puppy together, and it's been a test, I'll say the least. We've always had dogs, but we've decided to get one together, like as a trial. Now we've got our own house and stuff, and I sort of forgot how hard it was having a puppy. And the thing is, the puppy is a massive prick. But I love her indefinitely. And I think that's just the relationship most people have with their puppies. And I'm going to give you one little story that will epitomise why she's a prick. Right? So she's got this asphyxiation at the minute, or asphyxiation with anytime you try and clean, like the tissue paper, you get a bit of kitchen roll and wipe the floor, that's a game. and she would try and jump on the paper. So earlier on, I needed to come upstairs and go into the office to get my laptop. And I went upstairs and she followed me up. And I was like, oh, no, I don't want to go down the stairs on her own because she's so little. But I really needed the toilet. So I was like, what do I do? So I thought, I'm going to go to the toilet. I'm going to leave the door open. And the toilet's right in the middle of the landing. Right? And so I just proceeded to watch the dog sprinting across the landing for about 5 minutes until she decided to come into the toilet and get in my pants. In between my legs. She then proceeded to rip my pants off my legs.
What?
I couldn't stop her because I was on the toilet. So I then had to basically throw her out head first. And then she come back in at the point where I was finishing being on the toilet, if you understand where I'm going with this. And obviously, the paper is the same process as if you were cleaning anything else. She's seen the paper, and she won't let me do it. She decides to jump up and scratch my bare ass over and over until I felt like I was being destroyed by this 8-week-old spaniel. And so that is why I've been struggling with the puppy, because there's many a story like that that's happened over the last few days. So I'm really relieved that I'm on this podcast because it's a bit of respite.
Should we just put your dog up for adoption now then, Scott? Because I know how you get bored of things. And
Dogs are not one, and she's definitely never going up for adoption.
I think we're going to have to make Nelly's stories a new regular segment.
Yeah. The dog is called Nelly.
My girlfriend is in love with Nelly. Sardra's in love with her. She was so happy when you made an Instagram for it.
Well, I didn't make the Instagram. Hannah made the Instagram. I just took over the Instagram because Hannah's shit at Instagram. If we're going to have an Instagram, it's going to be a good one.
Scott, what have you been doing on this Instagram, though?
Well, Hannah's not best pleased because I've been like flirting with other dogs as Nelly. Other dogs will post like cute pictures. I'll be like, "You cute," in their comments, sending direct messages like "Kibble and chill," come here often, stuff like that. Hannah's like,
your favourite part?
For God's sake, yeah. But Hannah's got the ump because Nelly has had an Instagram for 3 days and has got triple the amount of followers as Hannah in those 3 days.
Brilliant. So that concludes Nelly's story this week. I'm sure it'll be a repeating feature because she's still going to be a puppy next week. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about was how this podcast actually came about. And I just wanted to have a little chat with all of you and see what you thought, because the way I see it is that it's essentially a product of lockdown and Warzone, which I find quite interesting. So we have actually only started gaming together as a 4 since March, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it only happened because we was all furloughed or had coronavirus, and so we're off work.
Yeah.
And there was a golden, what did you say, 2 months where all 4 of us probably play Warzone maybe twice a day.
For a good few hour sessions.
So we used to have standing sessions, didn't we? It would be 3 o'clock and 10 o'clock, wouldn't it? Or 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock.
3 and 9, yeah.
Yeah. It seems mad now, doesn't it? That actually happened.
It seems so long ago.
You know what, right?
Do you know why? Because it was so long ago.
It's half a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you know what? It's definitely a product of lockdown and COVID. But we were all playing games on our own before that, and we did try and play them together. Like we would have often, every time we got together, we would play. Or we'd come around people's houses and we'd have game nights and stuff around yours, Adam. It's difficult, but James always, if we come up or down, and we'd always play some sort of video game that would be a thing.
So that's the other thing I wanted to talk about, because for people listening to this podcast, they might not know that we're also spread out, so we don't see each other very often in real life. So me and Scott are living in Essex, as we always have. James used to live near us, but now lives in Liverpool. And Dan lives in Spain. So we don't see Dan very often at all.
I haven't seen Dan in about 2 years.
I haven't seen my family all year, so don't worry about it.
But yeah, we're all pretty spread out, really.
Yeah,
so this is a great way of staying in touch and keeping in touch.
Exactly, and that's
this has been kind of a blessing, because I've spoke to you guys more in these last 6 months than we probably were in the 3-4 months building up.
Yeah,
to it.
absolutely.
Apart from Christmas, where we'd have the normal sort of Christmas get together and that, but before that, it'd be a more sort of sporadic and sparse than it is right now.
And it's kind of so serendipitous how Warzone released in March. I just looked up the actual release date because I wasn't sure, but 10th of March, Warzone released, like the perfect lockdown game, like a brand new free-to-play game that you can play with your friends, and just as the UK locks down, like what the fuck?
I was pretty sure at that point that it was all Activision who released COVID onto the world so they could have a really successful game.
Activision can't fix us jumping out of a car the right way, let alone a pandemic.
Yeah, well, so apparently the developers of Warzone were actually working on the game in Wuhan.
For fuck's sake, shut up.
Is that actually true, or are you making it up?
No, obviously it's not true.
I thought things easily. I would have genuinely believed that.
There's a load of developers at a wet fish market in Wuhan.
I love that.
So, speaking of us all being spread out, Mick Foley has something to say about that as well.
James Croxon, who's from the UK. I don't know what part of the UK.
No, we don't either. He's from Essex or Liverpool. We just don't know. He supported Manchester United at one point. Now he supports West Ham. We don't know Mick any more than you do. It's nice to have him here today, though.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It just sporadically comes in and out. It's really nice.
Hey, I figure if I can entertain myself, you might be entertained as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks.
You've already said that, Mick. Oh, fair enough.
He's old, mate. The stuff he's gone through, he can repeat himself. You let him go away.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Cheers, Mick.
The dude has one ear. Give him some slack.
So, moving on, we are going to talk about FIFA 21. Dan has specially requested that he can lead the discussion on
just briefly, as I'm well aware that none of you play it. But obviously, it's a big game release this week. Probably
I thought
the
Scott
only.
played FIFA.
I do play FIFA. I just haven't played FIFA 21 yet.
Did you play last year's?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then fair enough. This applies to Scott. It's the only big game release. I thought it's worth a mention. In particular, how little changes there's been to the last year's one, and how money grabbing it is this year. Probably more than ever.
Unlike FIFA.
There's just one thing that's particularly interesting about this whole new release is that they have a version on the Switch. So just for context, they released their first FIFA on the Switch in 2019. FIFA 19, and it had like its gameplay features. It still wasn't as good as the proper game. It was missing some features. So anyway, FIFA 20 released, and they released what's called a Legacy Edition, which was no different to FIFA 19. It was basically just updated kits, right? And then again this year they've released the FIFA 21 Legacy Edition, which they've stated is the same as last year's game, which is the same as the year before that's game. So it's effectively a game from 2019, just reskinned to now, and they're charging you 50 quid for it. So I thought that's just worth a good.
That's what FIFA have been doing for years.
It's bizarre, no, but I mean, not to the point where no new features, like the same game, Scott, as 2019.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
No features, and it's still.
So if you bought the first one, so the one in the 19, and you had that on Switch, is there any sort of DLC where you can just update the kits on the same game?
No, you have the DLC is buying the new game for £50, whatever it is. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's like I saw the review of IGN on it today, and they literally gave it like a 2
Does
out of 10.
anybody think that Nintendo are actually everyone goes on about PlayStation and being a money grabber, and it's actually Nintendo are the ones that are actually the money grabbing fuckers, because there's never any good deals, there's never any game passes, there's never any like really good sort of cheap stuff on Nintendo. They're the ones that are ruining it.
There's never any deal whatsoever as far as I've seen. I've wanted to play Zelda Breath of the Wild, and then, not that, but
Zelda's a good example.
Yeah, but it's been out for ages. So I looked
came
at
out
it the other day to go, maybe I'll play that because it's supposed to be one of the best games ever. And it's still like 60 quid. And I'm like, fuck off.
I think the thing is with Nintendo is that a lot of their top games are they're exclusives, aren't they? And they're still they're massive high sellers. I don't think they probably say there's no need for us to put it on sale because we're still selling shitloads of them.
Still buy it, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, at some point, I probably will buy it. So, because I've got no choice. But yeah, Nintendo are the fuckers. watch them.
Right.
Watch
Tune in
out,
next
World
week for more
Nintendo.
Scott's warnings. Scott's ominous warnings.
Ominous vague warnings.
Yeah. The other game. So you finished with FIFA? Anything more to
Yeah,
say
move
now?
on.
Yeah?
I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was funny.
No, it is funny because how can they actually just not change anything? But also, what can they change? Like, surely football games have got to the point where they're as good as they can get.
Well, this is the argument at the minute, but the point is the games they're releasing on the PlayStation and Xbox they've got new features, new game modes, new new features and shit, but they're just not putting them in the new game, the Switch version. So all the updates that are actually coming aren't being put into the Switch. I think that's what's ridiculous about it.
Why though? Why are they doing that?
Because it's just money. People pay it. People are paying it clearly, and they're putting the warnings clearly. This is the same game as last year. People are buying it, I guess.
But the thing is with FIFA, like Adam's obviously not a big football or game player, but when especially like PS2 and PS3 to an extent, the biggest thing that I wanted when I picked up the new edition of FIFA was to be like wowed by how the game looks more real. Like I remember going from like sort of like FIFA, sort of like 2003, 4 to 2005, like they were real step ups. And I remember thinking like, oh my god! I remember when the ball would hit the back of the net, and like you'd see the ripples in the net, and like sort of the advertisements and stuff. I was like, this looks so much more real, and it made me really want to play it. But now they've peaked. I think.
Yeah, I also get the feeling from this one that they're holding a lot of the new stuff back for the PS5 release because it does seem to be a lot emptier than usual, which is interesting. I don't know if we'll see that with more games who are getting released on the PS4 and PS5. I guess
the trick is just don't fucking release it yet.
Yeah,
just wait a month.
Yeah, but people are going to buy it, Scott. That's the problem, isn't it? That's the problem.
For so long.
How many more people would go? The new FIFA looks absolutely epic. I desperately want to play that. I'll have to buy a PS4. A PS5 or an Xbox. Because if someone thought actually the new FIFA is like infinitely better, looks so much different, I think you'd probably encourage a lot more people to go and buy new consoles. Not that FIFA give a shit about give a shit about PlayStation, but
it's just never going to look that different, though, is it? Like, can you actually imagine someone who otherwise wouldn't buy a PS5, but he's going, "Oh, FIFA 21 looks really good, so I'm going to buy a PS5." Like,
but they probably would because they're already playing FIFA 20.
Yeah, they're like you've got people who have been buying that game every year since God knows when. Do you know what I mean?
No, but I'm saying like in a scenario
PS5
where
specifically for it.
Yeah, no, obviously there are people that will buy a PS5 to play the new FIFA, but I'm saying if the new FIFA didn't look as good, they wouldn't buy a PS5. Is there anyone that is?
I don't know.
Exactly. So they've got their core audience that are going to buy their game, whatever it is. So
regardless,
you don't need to make it better to make people.
The other thing that with the releases I haven't seen much of, just on a little tangent, is with like the new released Xboxes and PlayStations, they've not like got like a game specifically coming out. It's like really tied to the console. So I remember, for example, like when I don't know why it sticks in my mind when PS3 came out, they linked really strongly with Spider-Man. Do you remember this? Like the 3 on Spider-Man 3 and the game, like it was all like really closely knitted in, and there's like bundles and stuff that come out, and you get the same packaging. You'd get like different sort of types of consoles and controllers. I just don't see that happening at the minute. So yeah, here's a PS5, and just buy what you like.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on from FIFA. Who used to play Crash Bandicoot?
Me.
Yes.
Hey.
Everyone, then. Everyone. Who's actually going to buy Crash Bandicoot 4?
No.
Hey.
No,
Absolutely.
Are you?
Conway, I know you're a massive fan. Have you seen how big and how expansive this game is?
Mm-hmm.
Like how many levels there are?
Yeah, I've seen. Apparently, like the shortest levels in this game are like longer than any of the longest levels in the previous games. So
yeah,
people are saying it is just so hard.
Yeah.
Also,
in terms of content, there's 100 levels coming out in this one game. That's more than the entire Insane trilogy. So Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3 combined isn't as big as this one game.
I won't have the patience to finish that then. All right.
No. Is it going to be really repetitive? Because like
no.
I did watch a review of it. Yeah,
here's what I've seen. I loved Crash Bandicoot as a kid. and I love Crash Team Racing. I think that's what's getting people confused because I actually I don't know why, but I don't want to play Crash Bandicoot 4, even though it looks better and than all of the other Crash Bandicoots before it. It looks exactly what you want from a Crash Bandicoot game, but for some reason, I just don't want to.
Did you play the last one that came out, the most recent one?
Yeah, but that was I played that, but it was just
remastered,
wasn't it? And actually, I only played the third one.
Did you get it? Yeah, so did I. Warped.
Yeah, because Warped was my favourite.
Same.
So I went back and played that, but then I had no impetus to go and play 1 and 2 again.
And do you know why it was your favourite? Because it was closely linked to the PlayStation boxes you'd go out and buy. You'd always get a fucking Crash Bandicoot with it. You would. You'd go out and you'd buy a PlayStation and get a Crash Bandicoot. You would. It comes in the box.
I don't know where that's come from.
Listeners, you can't see us on Zoom, but we're all giving Scott that narrow-eyed look from Family Guy, where they're just like, "What is he talking?"
Otherwise, you would never buy these fucking games. You wouldn't.
I don't like Crash Bandicoot because it came on the PlayStation box once.
What I'm saying is, you go out and you buy it, and it came with some games. Like you get with 2 or 3 games. Crash Bandicoot was always one of them.
Are you thinking of demos, Scott?
No, they would come with them. So was Tomb Raider.
Did this have reviews? I don't remember this happening to me.
No, but it does remind me of why I think that I used to love Crash Bandicoot. And I think it was because back when I was a kid, I think it was one of the best games that I had. I only had a small collection of games. So I played it because it's the best one I had. But now it's just too frustrating to go and play. Like I could go and play Rocket League or Warzone and have much better time than failing to do a level 20 times and getting frustrated. I mean, if it goes on sale, I'll probably pick it up and give it a go. But I'm not rushing out to buy it, which feels really strange. And I think my 12-year-old self would be disgusted at the thought. But here we are.
The last one, the remastered one, wasn't that great. I lost interest after like an hour of it. And I was like, man, it's just exactly the same shit, but it just looks a bit more clear.
I think it was one of the best remasters I've ever seen.
It was the best. It was a brilliant remaster.
It looked amazing. Did you finish it?
From gameplay, yeah, of course. If you like Crash Bandicoot that much, it's playing on your nostalgia, isn't it? You're going to finish it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree, but I just don't think I liked Crash Bandicoot. I really like Crash Bandicoot, and then when I played the remaster, maybe I actually didn't like it as much as I thought I liked it.
It could be. That's what I'm feeling as well, because they remastered CTR, which is the kart racing version of Crash Bandicoot, and that is my favourite game of all time, and I played the shit out of that.
If they could remaster one game, might lead on to the next point in our podcast, I'm not sure. They could remaster one game from sort of like PS1, PS2, whatever it was. What game would you like to have remastered you could play again?
My answer to that last year was CTR. Then it got released, literally. So I don't know. I'll let others.
I would go for. Oh, go on. Did you ask then, Scott? Sorry.
No. So I asked Conway, but I meant you, Dan.
Did anyone ever play Croc?
Yes.
Yes. That one. That would be the one.
So on that point, before I forget, I spoke about we might do a sort of speed running, look at some speed running and talk about that. I looked up someone speed running Croc. They do this exploit where they jump and spin and they can float across the map and basically do every level in like 2 seconds. And basically for me that wasn't a speed run, that was just a cheat.
It's cheating, isn't it?
That reminds me, for another section of the podcast we should do is watching speed runs of our favourite like classic games, because they blow your mind what people do on them. But go on, Crocs was going to answer the question.
Was I?
There's no games you'd like to see remastered.
No, because again, I would have. Again, a few years ago, I would have loved Spyro to be remastered, and that happened.
I didn't know you was a big Spyro fan.
1 and 2, I was. It dropped off the face after.
James, you remind me a little bit of Spyro for some reason.
Just running around with gems. I'll tell you who James is. James is Mr. Moneybags. You know the bear who used to take your money to let you cross bridges. That's James.
If I could have remastered, I would like to remaster the original Tomb Raiders.
I thought you were going to say FIFA then.
No. Remaster the original Tomb Raiders, not with a bit where you can like lock Alfred in the cupboard.
Classic.
Yeah,
stuck in the
so
fridge.
I think Tomb Raider,
Yeah, I'm
or maybe
surprised
the
they haven't
original
done
Metal
that
Gear.
yet. Who makes Tomb Raider?
Was
I'm not
it
sure.
no? Oh no, it wasn't Naughty Dog, was it? I ain't got a clue.
That's what I
Ubisoft.
thought
No,
it
no.
might be.
Tomb Raider is the new Tomb Raiders are fantastic. They're like really, really, really good, and they're great games. But I wonder if they're like, I can't remember now. I wonder if they're like Activision now at the minute, because their map system is quite similar.
No,
But
it's Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft.
Ubisoft,
Okay, yeah, it makes perfect sense then because of the map system. Yeah, Activision, what we're talking about. Yeah, but the new ones are a little bit. They're a little less arcadey than you wanted before. Because like Tomb Raider was like notoriously quite difficult. Like what Como was saying about getting frustrated with levels and like a little bit sort of like puzzly. But they're not really like that anymore. It's just like it's a bit like Far Cry, but you're Lara Croft.
Yeah. So you'd like a 1-for-1 remake of the first game, but in HD, basically.
Or the original Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
Oh yes, actually, I remember playing Metal Gear Solid so long ago. I had a black and white TV to play it on. That's how I
Wow.
remember that. It was one of my first games played.
So just on Metal Gear Solid, I remember playing it when I was younger, and you remember the game where like the mobile phone scene would come up, and you're on the phone to whoever, and all the numbers would come in. And I used to think that all the numbers were really important. The numbers, I wrote them all down.
Brilliant. That reminds me of a story that I've heard over and over again about the original Pokemon games. So the second one, there was a thing like where you can name your rival, right? So most people would like name him like Arse or Bumface or something, like whatever a kid would do. But basically, the game makes you meet your rival first, and you don't know his name. So the speech comes up like where it would say his name, it just says question mark, and then what he says. And then later, the professor says, "Oh, what was his name?" And you're supposed to then just make up whatever name you want to give him. But because the professor asked you what his name was, and kids that were playing it went, "Oh, I know what his name was. It was question mark, and they put that in as his name, thinking that it had to be the right answer.
Oh, sorry. There's one last thing before you move on.
Go on.
Whilst you're talking about that, about remembering names and it being really important, James will be able to find the answer to this question out for me next week because his fiance's dad used to go on about this game when I was younger all the time. And it was like a PC game, and he said it was the hardest game he's ever played. It was like really, really difficult. And it was about a monkey being tied to like a post or something. Do you remember Croxon? And you used to have to type in and ask it what to do and ask it questions, and it would talk back, and it was really, really difficult. So if James could find the name of that game.
Right, next week I'm going to find out
And it's
what the
really
real name of Monkey Boating Adventure is.
Boating adventure. Where'd you get that from?
I thought you said he was tied to a boat.
Post.
Oh, a post, right.
He's not tied to a boat. No, he's just tied to a post. And it was really difficult, and he used to go on about it all the time. So that's something for. And also, whilst we're on James's fiance's dad, Frank, he used to love Flight Simulator, and the new Flight Simulator is coming out, and I would be really interested to play it if we're allowed.
Flight Simulator's out now, mate. It's been out for about a month.
Oh,
Is it on PlayStation now?
No, it's on PC.
Well,
Everyone's flying aeroplanes to Jeffrey Epstein's island. That's the only memes I saw of it.
you know what? I don't know why I keep seeing adverts for it, and I was like, I'm really looking forward to that game coming out, and then it's been out.
Yeah.
Everyone's been at Epstein's island for a month.
It's a new form of internet abuse.
Yeah.
People are flying planes into people they don't like's homes and sending them the footage. Because it is Google Earth realism.
Yeah, but I was thinking about this. So, like, the planes are so real, and they are genuinely good replicas, and a lot of companies are using them as like training, sort of like training packages. Is that a good thing to have the general public allowed to do? It's well, borderlines. The question is like, actually, I don't really want all these fucking lunatics learning how to fly planes. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I just thought I'd put that out there.
Brilliant. So, going to move on now. Croxon, are you ready for your dubious news?
Croxon's dubious news disclaimer. All news stories are rumour and not to be taken as fact. All comments should be taken as such and likely nothing more than ramblings and nonsense. Much like this disclaimer. Okay, as always, we like to kick off with a little bit of Warzone news. It's much the same because for once we've been very, very good at keeping to a schedule, and we're only a week after our last recording. So there hasn't been a lot of new news, but we've got some confirmations that Nightfall mode is coming.
Oh, is it?
Nightfall confirmation.
Confirmation. Remember, most of my stuff is rumour news and should be taken as nonsense, but
Yeah, that is true.
I'm going to say it as absolute confidence. In absolute confidence. And Nightfall mode is on its way, and it's going to be launching with the Zombies Royale and the Haunting of the Dansk event on the Wednesday, the 20th of October. And that's likely probably going to run for the week or the 2 weeks after that.
Oh, nice. We're going to have to make some time to play that.
Well,
I'm not sure about night mode.
I'm definitely going to give
Scott,
it a go.
you love the thermal scope. You used to love it.
Oh yeah, I did actually. I'm looking. I completely forgot about the thermal scope. I always used to rock a thermal scope. Yeah.
Right, Scott's
I'm
happy.
down.
Scott's happy. You're down for that, yeah. Brilliant. One game we really haven't touched on much of is Among Us. A little bit of news from the creators is they were on the verge of launching Among Us 2, and they've cancelled it.
Good.
And they've purely cancelled it because the developer's going back to focus on the original game and trying to improve it and add some bits, because it is technically still a beta game.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
The sheer popularity of it. I mean,
Just
Tomo,
to think
if you
that
can
game's been out for 2 years and that now it's just got popular is actually insane. I love it.
Out of nowhere, it's not really.
It was
I know,
one
all of-
streamer on Twitch decided to start streaming it and enjoyed it, so then it just blew up through
That's how it happens. It's great.
basically Twitch. Yeah.
Cool
Come
for
on,
them.
you've probably played a lot more, or Dan even, you've played a lot more Among Us than us. What for Scott, who probably hasn't played this game at all? No,
I've not played at all.
No. What's it all about?
Before we tell you, when you just said that they weren't making the remake, the number 2, Scott, why did you say good?
Well, because I've not even played number 1.
You want to be left behind? He's a trendsetter, this boy.
I was like, good. I'm glad about that. I've not even played number 1. Yeah.
Oh god, that's like me saying, "Oh no, FIFA 21. I haven't played FIFA 94 yet."
At all.
Have you played FIFA International though, Adam?
No, same game. If you were listening last week. Sorry, what was the question, Crocs? What is Among Us?
What is Among Us? What is the deal with it?
You all play as little characters that kind of look like the Fall Guys characters, and you're all on a spaceship. Between like 6 and 10 of you on a spaceship, and one of you is an imposter and can kill all the rest. And every time you kill someone, when you find the body, you can call a meeting, and then you all discuss who you want to eject from the spaceship, and you're trying to find the imposter.
Is it a little bit like Cluedo? It sounds a bit like Cluedo.
No.
But Spaceship Cluedo?
No.
Spaceship Cluedo.
I see what you're saying, but
Just from the way you described, that's how it sounded.
yeah, not really, because in Cluedo you don't really eliminate people from the game, do you?
No, I guess not. Yeah, no, that's more like Murder Mystery Weekend, I suppose.
Yeah. But it is good fun. Unfortunately, we can't download it on our Macs to play it on PC. You have to play it on mobile, which is a little bit more fiddly and annoying. But it's a good game.
Yeah.
And from what I can see, it's text-based as well.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing with your friends, I read you could do voice chat. If you're just in a thing with all your friends in a party, I don't know how it works. I read something about it the other day. You can do voice chat.
Right,
Yeah.
so it's not available on Mac.
No,
No.
For
Windows
fuck's
and phone.
sake. Is anything available on Mac?
Get your phone. Get on your phone.
Yeah, but so if we play it on our phone and then go on Discord, maybe, or Zoom or whatever, we can do voice. It's just a lot of faff, really, because you have to have
Knowing when to
everybody
mute.
in the game playing on the same communication channel, basically. Otherwise, it doesn't really work. And so that means you have to get enough friends together to fill up a full game of like 8 people. Because you can't invite randoms and then say, "Oh, now join our Discord channel" or something.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so this will probably make a little bit more sense to you and Dan then, in terms of little bit rumours and bits. There's an update that's due pretty much any day now, no confirm on when. But we've got some new updates, including custom map modes, so build your own spaceship or whatever the map layout is. A anonymous voting option, so I guess that's probably a preset before you start the game. removing the taskbar visibility until the meeting's called, whatever that means, and along with that, guardian angels. So once you are dead and you are a ghost, you actually have a little bit more to do rather than just completing your tasks. So what that means,
I think that would be good.
whether you can hint at who the imposter is, or trying to defend them, I don't know.
Thank you, Croxton. Okay, moving on. We said last week we were going to talk about our earliest gaming memories, and this is something I've wanted to talk about for a little while because I find it quite fascinating. Does anyone want to go first, or shall I kick us off?
Kick us off.
Okay, I'll kick us off. So, I remember when I was probably around 8 years old playing this handheld Zelda game that was as simple as you could ever imagine a game being. It was you could be in one of like 6 places on the little screen. You could just press left and right to go to the different places, and there was one move you could do, which was swap your knife for your sword and sort of hit and defend in that way. And it was cool. I did some research, and it was something called a Game and Watch, and it was released in 1989. And I'll leave a little link in the podcast to have a look at what this looks like. But essentially, I've sent it to you boys on WhatsApp, so you can have a look at it. It looks essentially like a Nintendo DS, but
It's exactly the same setup as the DS.
in terms of the 2 screens, the sort of folding into a little folding closed sort of thing, and I have no idea how I got a hold of this, who bought it for me, or why, but I just have this vivid memory of playing it once on the stairs as my mum was trying to get my coat on me to go out, and saying, "Mum, no, I'm on level 6, and I want," because there was no save feature on this thing, and it was a very hard game. It was simple, but it was hard.
I'd be interested to know where you got this toy, because you were 8 and bought in 1989.
It must have been given to me by a family member or a friend or something. I've asked my parents, but they've not been very useful at all. I think they're just not interested.
Maybe they stole it.
yeah.
They're like, that thing.
Don't tell him about our dodgy past. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, some sort of burglary. Not sure. So
Cool, mate. Mine is, again, it was released. I had a look at this. It's released in 1989. It's Tiger Electronic. It's a handheld Power Rangers.
It's
game.
essentially the same thing as the same sort of thing, isn't it?
It's just a single screen, like one single screen rather than the DS setup, and you could either kick, punch, morph, or I think call like what are they, like the robots, Zords. That's it.
Megasaurus.
Yeah, and it was the game would just go on and on and on, and I think I had that game all the way up until the screen faded so much you couldn't actually see it. I think these were sort of dime a dozen because I've seen loads of different ones that were knocking like Transformers and various bits like that. So I think they were big mass produced sort of games and not very good, but
yeah,
we're glued to them.
I'd love to know where we got them from. Do you know where you got yours from?
No, again, I asked my mum and she didn't have a clue.
It's just like, what are we talking about?
It's just like, I showed her a picture, didn't remember it at all.
Oh my god!
Fuck off games at your PlayStation, mate.
Scott, what about yours?
My earliest memory, I think, is a bit earlier than yours because if James is saying when was it released? Croxon?
1989.
Oh, 1989.
89.
Oh, okay.
So again,
okay. So how old do you reckon it was when you were playing those games?
5 or 6, maybe.
Okay, so I reckon we're probably similar then.
Yeah.
But I was on the Sega Mega Drive.
I never had one of those.
Go-to console. Sega Mega Drive was sick. Sega Mega Drive was the best console I've ever played.
Shut up.
It was. I still think that's my favourite thing to ever play. And James will tell you whenever he comes up and we spend time together, I'll always make him play old school retro video games with me from the Mega Drive.
God, yeah.
And my favourite game was Road Rash 2. Well, that was my first early memory playing Road Rash 2. And Road Rash, I don't know if you guys have ever played it. James might have played it.
Do you know why I've played it, Scott? Because you made us all play it when you came round that time.
No, that did.
You did?
With the motorbikes.
Yeah, you just like a side-scrolling street fighting thing.
No, that's Street
no.
Rage.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Never
No,
mind. Ignore
Road
me.
Rash is like a motorbike racing.
Oh yeah.
Like a 2D screen, and you've got like a chain, and you like race along and you whip people with your chain and knock them off their bikes. And that was my first ever memory, and I probably shouldn't have been playing it because I was probably, like you say, 4 or 5, and I was playing basically a violent road rage motorbike gang game.
And that hasn't made you a really miserable, angry man at all.
Yeah, so that was mine. What about you, Dan?
I've got a couple. One that stands out to me is a game called Metroid. Whatever, I'm sure most people know Metroid
Game
is
Boy?
on the Game Boy, the black and white one, and it
Yes,
being
I played
insanely
that.
impossible and
Mhm.
not very fun. But you could curl up into a ball and like roll around and stuff,
Yeah.
which I used to like. But my most prevalent early gaming memory is PlayStation 1 watching my dad play the Die Hard game. Did any of you
Yeah.
ever play that? And, it was like, obviously, like the graphics were crap and like really shit. Well, I just remember I used to sit there and watch my dad, and he used to love it because he used to kill all these Germans, and like he would just come out of his catchphrases like "yippee-ki-yay" and stuff like this. And but like obviously the AI was really dumb, so they'd all like run at you in straight lines, like continuous lines, so you could just shoot, boom, 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 and then just keep running. And dad would just love it. He'd be like, "Oh, look, it's an absolute bloodbath!" Like. I just remember that. It just stands out to me for some reason. It looked
Dan,
like
was it a double disc game?
I don't remember. I don't
I
remember.
remember double disc games. I can't remember if it was, but maybe I'm getting confused with the first Metal Gear. And if you bought a double disc game, you was like, "Oh shit, that's a proper game.
Yeah.
That's a grown-ups game."
I'm looking it up now, Dan. It was actually called Die Hard Trilogy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there was 3 of them, and I remember the third one was a driving game. It was like kind of like Crazy Taxi. You had to get from like point A to B in a certain amount of time, and it was
Yeah.
impossible. I couldn't get past the first level, and you just had like a really bad impression of Samuel L. Jackson shouting in your ear like, "Don't go that way, motherfucker!" Like, shit like that.
It was released in 1996.
Yeah, it was great fun, those games.
Yeah. So hold on. So that's your earliest game memory of someone else playing a game. So the one that you playing was
But me personally, that would probably be Tomb Raider, first Tomb Raider, because that game I couldn't get it. I was a fucking wimp when I was a kid. I remember the bit when you got up in the first level up to the bear. I just used to turn it off. I used to play up to the bear. And I got further than the bear. I'd be like, "No, fuck this!" I had to turn it off, or like get my dad to finish it. I was like, I just couldn't do it. I was so scared. It used to scare me. I just used to play the training mission in the mansion.
So if anyone listening has any of their earliest gaming memories, please comment them on our YouTube channel or tweet at us about them. We'd love to read them out and talk about them on the podcast. But for now, moving on, it's Dan's quiz.
Oh, I've been preparing this.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
We've got the intro music, you pun.
Sorry, I've never done one before.
Take it away, Dan.
Thank you. This is a very complicated quiz with a
Oh,
lot of
brilliant.
rules.
Brilliant.
Obviously, it's not, because I spent 5 minutes planning this. So there's only 2 rules, 1 point per answer,
Yeah.
and obviously, like you'll see, there's no passing. So if you get it wrong, it's wrong.
Right.
And the premise of the game is I'm going to give you a title of a game, and you've got to tell me whether it's real or if it's fake. Okay, very simple concept, but you'll be surprised at some of the games that exist.
I've played a game like this before with my eyes closed.
No, I'm not going to get into that at all. So everyone clear on the rules?
So do we have to buzz in?
No, because it's so simple, Scott, and I'm telling you, it's so simple. There's going to be no problems. I'm just going to ask you specifically.
You're going to go round to each
Is this
person.
a real game? Is this true or false? Is this real? And you tell me if you think it's real or if it's not real.
Got it.
Okay. Who would like to start? For I am a democratic man.
Adam.
I'll start.
Adam Conway.
Oh, before we start this time, it's become tradition that the winner of the quiz hosts the next week's quiz. So it's a lot to play for.
Chen, let's go. Adam Conway.
Mhm.
Is this a real game or a fake game? Big Mother Truckers 2, Truck Me Harder. Is that real or is it fake?
It's got to be It's too weird for you. Hold on. Actually, have you made these up, or have you found them on a website that has all
The
fake
ones that aren't real, I've made up.
Right. Okay. It's too weird for you to have made up. I'm gonna say true.
You are correct.
Yay!
One point to Adam Conway. Big Father Truckers 2. It's a trucking
Second
game.
one in that game.
Oh, it's a
Yes.
trucking game, is it?
Cool.
Not
Yeah.
a
Truck me
fucking game.
harder. Right. Number 2. Croxon. We've got true or false. Manuel the meat lover. True or false?
False. That's not a game.
It is false.
Yay! I
Yay.
would have missed that job because it sounds like something Dan would
Yeah.
make up.
We've cracked your quiz,
Meat
Dan.
lover.
Right,
Manuel.
no, trust me. I'm
Trust
easing you in. I'm lubing you up. This is tough.
That's a real one.
Just like Manuel.
It's just like Manuel the meat
I
lover.
hope you lube me out because last week I got fucked by Conway.
Next round. Scott Jackson. DVLA. Drive to survive. Is that true? Or is that false?
Drive to survive in a game. I can't imagine the DVLA.
DVLA. Drive to survive.
I can't imagine. Well, I'm thinking of the DVLA in the UK. I can't imagine the DVLA, one, making a game, and two, calling it Drive to Survive.
If I told you that this was a game based on trying to connect with young people to make them learn the hazards of the road,
I'm going false.
you're completely correct. Obviously, the DVLA.
Drive to Survive.
Adam Conway.
Yes.
Is this true or is this false? Tongue of the Fat Man. Is that true or is this in fact a lie?
I think that's a lie.
Unluckily,
Oh,
unfortunately, it is
yeah.
true. It is an actual game. No idea what it's about. It had the weirdest front cover I've ever seen of any game. It was literally a fat man with his tongue out. Like. Yeah, so
we should start. We should play these games.
I know. Right, so Croxon, Adam, unfortunately, you got that wrong. Croxon,
First one to drop a point.
indeed. Tactics Ogre. Let's stick together.
Oh
A game about an ogre who will never lose his friends.
no. False.
That is in fact true. That is in fact
Oh.
true. I'm telling you, this is not as easy as it looks, my friend. Scott Jackson.
Go.
Atomic Henry and the Jewels of Palestine. Attack on a palace of hidden gems that no one will ever find, not even the Sultan. Is that true? Or is it in fact false?
Don't.
A game about a man called Henry set in ancient Egypt who has to find a hidden treasure chest.
I'm blown away by the title. He's called Henry.
Atomic Henry.
Atomic Henry. Can you read me the title once more, please, Dan?
And listen carefully.
Have you got enough time?
Atomic Henry and the Jewels of Palestine. Attack on a palace of hidden gems that no one will ever find, not even the Sultan. This could be a translated game title from another language if it's this long.
Right. Okay.
Just to
In
bear
which
that
case,
in
I'm going to go true.
It's false. Obviously,
Fuck
that game was-
off.
just- what kind of game would that be, Scott? Come on.
Well, you can't give clues that mislead you, Dan. The
Well, I
most
can. It's
misleading
my
clues.
quiz. My
It's
quiz.
not- right. Okay.
You should have known better. You should have known better.
Has anybody ever seen that episode of Friends where they have to go and Ross has to go for an interview, and there's three candidates in there, and you ask them paleontology questions, and then you ask the first person a paleontology question, and they give a good answer. Second person, paleontology question. He goes, Ross, when's my nan's birthday? That's the sort of thing that's happening here.
Look, quizzes aren't supposed to be easy, Scott. Right. So as it stands, all of you who were laughing in the first round have in fact failed every single question on the second round. So as we head into the final third round, you're all on 1 point. Un point.
Ooh.
Adam Conway.
Mm-hmm.
Listen carefully, for this is...
God.
In a foreign language again.
It is translated from a foreign language. Summer Coloured High School. Adolescent record. A summer at school on an island where I contemplate how the first day after our transfer went. I ran into a childhood friend and was forced to join the journalism club, where my days as a paparazzi kid with great scoops made me rather popular among the girls. But strangely, my camera is full of panty shots, where my candid romance is going. Is that true, or is that in fact false?
Hold on. Is that the full title of the game, or is that the
That
synopsis?
is the full title of the game.
And also, is it translated from Japanese?
It is.
I mean, it's true.
You've played it.
It's true. It is true. It is,
Yeah.
in fact, the longest game title in the world. It's translated from Japanese, and it's literally the title of the game.
I could have named it better with 4 letters.
Also, Dan, if someone asks you if it's translated from Japanese, you confidently say yes. Like, it's probably going to be a real game, isn't it?
but what are the chances of you actually getting that right? I feel like I should give you an extra point. That was crazy.
It's ridiculous. It's like asking the host of like University Challenge one of these questions. They subconsciously give you the answer.
To be fair, I gave you the
3
same
letters.
clue. It could be anything. I'm a natural born deceiver. Croxon, tough DLC. It's a DLC and it's hard.
It's just called Tough.
Tough DLC.
Hurry up, Crocs.
I'm gonna go false.
It's true.
Oh,
There was actually a DLC release just called Tough DLC.
But that's not a game, though.
Well, it's part of the game, I guess.
I'm not going to complain because Croxton's out and I could win here.
Yeah.
So.
And finally, we have Scott Jackson. Let's find a good one.
It's fucking rigged, mate.
Got it.
Let's find a good one so they both lose.
Right, ready?
No.
Last one. If you lose this, you're in fact out. Adam Conway takes the spoils.
Yeah.
Myopia Quest. I've lost my glasses.
True.
False, obviously. What kind of game would that be, Scott?
But they're all stupid names.
Myopia Quest. I've lost my glasses.
I don't know, Dan. It's obviously a load of rubbish, isn't it?
The
The entire quiz is rubbish.
Dan,
no,
I thought your quiz was excellent, Dan.
Thank you.
I am now two-time champion.
Well deserved.
Quiz.
Well deserved.
Well, I'm so thankful that Conway is doing next week's quiz. But I would like to make a proposal that we do like a mastermind, like a subject, like a whatever you want to call it.
Well, if you ever win a quiz, Scott, you can make your own one.
Oh, Lily.
He is not happy.
I
Look at that face.
I see.
For someone who's got a degree, you sure are thick.
Right, next thing we're going to talk about is the game of the week. So Scott's nominations for
I refuse to
week.
say. I refuse to
Well,
say.
I'm going to tell him. So
It's my game. I want to say. You also missed out the little bit in there, Conway. We went, "I am the champion," and I just whispered,
I heard it.
You're a cunt.
thanks for bringing it to my attention. You know, I get to enjoy it
Wanted to
now
make sure-
and when I edit the podcast.
Just wanted to make sure you knew. So my game, I had games plural of the week. First of all, I had I Am Bread, and secondly, I had the sort of more multiplayer type game that we could play together, Steep. Go for it. Let's do I Am Bread first.
Shit.
Yeah.
Hated it. Deleted it straight away.
Let's explain for anyone that doesn't know what I Am Bread actually is. Scott, do you want to introduce what it is?
Yeah, so it's basically the objective of the game is to get your piece of bread toasted, in essence, and you have to do that by hook or crook. Whether it's to get in the toaster, there was a level you have to like smash the television up and get on that and do your toast, and you have to sort of like make your way around the living room or the room that you're in, whatever it might be, without getting
You
dirty.
play as a piece of bread that can somehow move, and you can grip things with the 4 corners of the bread using L2, R2, R1, and L1 on the PlayStation, and it is absolutely ridiculous.
It's hard as well.
It's very hard.
It's hard. It's glitchy as hell. I don't know if anybody else found this, but I was glitching. Like I was finding bits where I'd like fall down like the back of the sofa or whatever, and then you're just fucking stuck there, and the cameras won't move around, so you can't get out. And then you can just see in the wall and stuff like that. And I just decided, do you know what? fuck this and turn it off.
I mean, it is definitely like, right, first of all, let me just start by saying it's a very creative and inventive game.
Yeah.
It is cool. It's ridiculously hard, and I don't really get the point of it.
It is, yeah, I get, yeah, you are right. It's ridiculously hard. There is not a lot of points to it. Sometimes these little like really basic games are best though. Like I remember playing like Trials and stuff. Do you remember playing Trials?
Yes.
Yeah, I love
Um,
Trials. Trials HD.
re-
They've got new ones.
really,
They look
really
good.
basic, the original ones, and they were really, really good. And they were like, again, obviously, you weren't a piece of bread, but again, it was like a silly game, really, and they were really, really good. And this is the sort of game that could have been good, I think, possibly. Could
Yeah,
have been a little bit
I
more
also
fun.
find it's the sort of game, like, I don't know about you, but I got bored of it very, very quickly.
Well, I Am
Yeah.
Bread.
Yeah, it
I
was
got-
good, but I mean, you get to a point where everything just feels a bit the same.
Yeah, I mean, I got a few levels in and started going, I've got to complete this now. I really got to because, well, just because we was all playing it and I wanted to
Yeah,
furthest. But even I gave up with it in the end because it was just so frustrating. So you have to get yourself toasted. So the first level is in the kitchen, and so that is pretty simple. You just have to make your way over to the toaster. But you can get on top of the toaster and spend about 10 minutes actually trying to get into it because the controls are just so weird and don't work.
You have to do like a death jump into the air and hope you land at a decent enough angle to slot yourself in the toaster.
Is that what you did? Because I tried that and ended
Yeah.
up in the cat litter tray.
I'll tell you what the most frustrating thing on that level is finally making it past the ants, getting up onto the side of the fridge before realising that the fridge door opens and just takes you away from
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't get past
I
that.
have never noticed. I've never seen that. I've
up and
never
over
had
the
that
fridge.
happen.
Oh, really?
No, but I always go up the side of the fridge and over.
Same.
The doors, if you get stuck on a door in that game, is really annoying because there's a level in the bathroom and you start in the cabinet, and the only way to get out is to go on the door, and it just continuously moves for no reason, and it makes it really hard unnecessarily, I think. So how do we rate this game then?
Shit.
Oh yeah, I'd give it a trash.
It's trashing. This is
It's
not trashing.
It's challenging, but not necessarily in a fun way.
Also,
Yeah.
the other thing is, there's a few levels like where you have to be a bit innovative about how you're going to toast your bread. Like, it's not really, I'll just find a toaster in every
No,
room.
the first level is find a toaster. The second level takes place in the
living room.
Living room. So what is it?
And
The
Bowling ball smashes
Well,
the.
yeah, but there's another way. I
Yeah.
toasted myself on the heater. You can
yes
turn
on the
heater
radiator.
on the radiator.
Oh, right.
and toast
Well, I
yourself
did the
that way.
toast. I did the bowling ball, smashed the TV, and then toasted my bread like that.
Did you
But
Google that though?
that's exactly what I did.
Well,
And I don't normally do that with them games. I just got the ump with it. I was like, oh no, I'm not mucking about. I'm not one of these people that does walkthroughs and stuff, but that game I did.
Scott doesn't play games to have fun. In case anyone hasn't noticed, he takes them very seriously. He's there to get through this game.
Critique it.
so we're trashing I Am Bread, even though we can recognise that it is a interesting and unique piece of art. Maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely original, but I wouldn't necessarily.
Did you pay attention to the storyline?
No. I read the first
No,
letter.
I
it's
skipped that. No, I skipped that every time.
So
I
I
don't
read
know.
one of them, and basically between the levels, you have a psychiatrist's report of the guy that apparently lives in the house that the game's taking place in.
Mate,
And
this guy's a slob then.
yeah. So he's having serious mental troubles, and one of them is that he keeps leaving bread in certain places in his house, coming back, and one of the slices has managed to turn itself into toast. And he tells people this, and they have sectioned him.
That's quite funny, actually.
Okay, so we've trashed that game.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty.
Let's move on to Scott's other game. I mean, no one ever said that you could pick two games, but who's going to tell Scott any differently?
You're glad I did, though, aren't you? You're glad I did.
So the other game we played was Steep, which is a skiing snowboarding game, and well, I really enjoyed it. I'm going to play more of it at some point.
Yeah, I really like Steep.
We didn't actually manage to find the time to all play four of us together, but we did manage
We
three
did
of
play
us
the
at a
three
time.
and a two. Me and Croxon played as a two.
Oh, did you? Yeah. So what did you think?
I really like it. I think graphically it's an amazing game to play, isn't it?
Looking game.
Yeah.
It does look really good. You have to say, like the mountains and the skiing, but it is really good.
So
Like
good.
the inertia you get when you're going down there, I think it delivers that really, really well.
Yeah,
Like the feeling of when you're hitting a really satisfying jump or just taking a nice corner, you feel that, and I think it displays really well in the game.
yeah. So three of us here are very keen skiers, and one of us hates skiing.
I went skiing. That's as much as I can say.
Scott, has this game made you want to ski any more or less, or had no
No,
effect?
had no effect.
Because
No,
I tell you, it's made me miss skiing more
Just
Yeah.
all the more.
by
Yeah.
I
playing
got
it.
that feeling too.
I'm just not a huge skier, I'm afraid, and this was never gonna. But I did like the game. I did think it was good. I did think it looked really good.
We need
and
to
I
play
did-
Surfing Simulator to get your.
Yeah, yeah. But no, but I can see why you guys liked it, and I can see why it would make you feel like that. It's just I'm not a huge skier, so
Yeah, I'd like to play
Um,
some more multiplayer with you guys because that's
I d-
fun.
That was
So
that was a really fun part. Yeah.
there was a fun part. The problem I found there's one problem with the multiplayer. It had random people kept joining.
I think
Yeah.
that's purely because we didn't have a private party set up the first time round.
That was annoying. The
I
other
like
thing
that
that
aspect of it.
the thing that I really like about these sorts of games is I really like the story sort of campaigny type thing, if you want to call it that, where you have to go. Obviously, like this is like go around the mountain and like do different things like slopes and shit, do it and break records or whatever, and then earn more points. But I just felt like that was sort of like a little bit lost, like it was a bit of an afterthought.
Yeah, there's not
I
much
didn't
story
really.
to it. It's just skiing
It should have just been a skiing simulator because it tells you all the tutorials and stuff. Like I did the first one, it was like a downhill race and I did fine. And I thought, oh, I'll do the next level up, and it was like follow the night bird or whatever, and it was just followed the woman who called herself Mountain, and she's a skiing
Oh yeah, I
like.
played that. That was such a weird level.
Yeah.
But you're trying to do
And
some like, artistic story with it, weren't you? You're following her
So,
down the hill,
I am the mountain.
telling you a story as you're going. And
You can feel me, but you can't see me.
yeah, it's supposed to be like this cinematic sort of sequence. Apart from I'm on my ass half the time trying to catch her.
Yeah, it was like a perfume advert.
Yeah,
That's what it was like. And then you get down the bottom and he goes Mountain by Thierry Mugler or whatever, or something like that. That's what it was like. That's what it was like. So yeah, no, I was like, oh no, I'm not playing this load of shit.
Yeah.
And I turned it off and I was like, let's just play some multiplayer. But I thought it would have been quite cool. The customization was quite good. Like in terms of like the stuff you could get, like the outfits, it was like there was some actual like brands and stuff on there, which was quite good. Like it was like not North Face and stuff on there, which was nice.
They did something where they did like some partnership with like Red Bull X Games and stuff like that, so you
Yep.
could actually do like the Winter Olympics stuff on it, and like it got updated as it went along. It was really cool.
Mm.
I don't know if
think
you
it-
guys
great.
felt like this. So you know, you're saying it had this partnership. If you were say you were an avid skier, you guys like skiing. I wouldn't say you were avid skiers, like go like multiple times a year. Like as if like some of the Europeans who might live close, they go regularly, and you take it really, really keen, or you compete.
Mm.
It's not that sort of game, is it? Like it's a little bit more like pick up and play. Like it's a little bit easier.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
It's not. And if you was an actual skier, like that's not real.
but-
Or another customization a little bit more basic. That's what I'm saying. And so, like for example, it was a little bit lost between like, is it trying to be a really good skiing game where like you're trying to downhill ski, go fast, go through like competitions, or is it like a thrill seeker type, Red Bull type jumpy game? I didn't really know what it was. Was it like what was I trying to? What was I
think
trying
it
to do?
was
The
as
trick
close to
system-
being a simulation as possible,
Yeah.
while still being
I think
fun.
what's being lost on you a little bit there is just trying to enjoy it and have that experience.
But that's just
Just
Scott in
enjoying the
life in
game.
general, isn't
'Cause-
it?
No,
It
but the
sounds like
game
you're
isn't-
trying to find the point of the game rather than just enjoying what it is for what
But then
it
why
is.
have a point of the game? Why have this story mode? Why have the point scoring system? If that's not the point of the game, then why have it?
Well, what's the point of FIFA? Like, what's the point in any sports game? You just play it because you enjoy it. Scott, I'm
No,
not
but-
getting into this with you again. All
No,
right?
no.
No.
The weekly
I'm just
Scott
saying-
argument.
I'm just saying, if this was
sake.
a skiing simulator, right, which is what you girls keep trying to say is, right, then that's fine. Just say it's fucking steep ski simulator, and you can pick what mountain you want to go down and ski down it. Don't make me chase some dickhead called Mountain all day.
It doesn't
so I
make
can
you
get
do
a load
that.
of
I never
points.
did that.
No, but that's the main part of the game. That is the main part of the game.
Scott, you know
And
what?
also-
You're right. You're
No,
right.
right.
After all this time, I've come to the conclusion you're right.
Do you know
About
how, right,
everything.
can I give you my opinion of what I think would
No,
have been really
please.
good?
No.
Please. Of
What,
what I
have
think
you,
that
what
I-
have you been doing for the last 10 minutes?
Fucking hell.
just listen. This is what would have made this game really
Oh.
good. Two different modes. You can pick a mode. There's a
Yes.
simulator element.
Yes,
great.
I agree.
The second element should have been like a Tony Hawk type trick element. That would
Yeah,
be really
I think
cool.
they should make a proper divide between campaign and free play.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
They could have said it shorter though, couldn't you?
Well,
So, in conclusion, Scott picked 2 games and hated them both.
no, I didn't hate it. I just didn't love it just because it's skiing, and I've been a couple of times.
Wait, sorry, are we passing this? We're passing it, aren't we? Obviously.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Steep's going to get a pass, and we're going to play it again. I think.
It's
Yes.
not a greatness game, but it's a good game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the podcast now. There's one more thing to do, which is to find out from Dan what his game of the week is going to be.
Well, quite obvious. We've already touched on it in the podcast earlier. I recommend we're going to play Among Us, since I think it'd be really cool to all play together, all 4 of us. Scott, you can't really hate that game. It's a mobile game.
He'll find a way. He'll find a way.
So yeah, I'm recommending Among Us.
Cool.
Among Us.
I'm up for that.
Well, thank you for listening to the Pick Up and Play podcast. We have enjoyed this week's rambling session. But see you next week. Bye.